Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for this webinar, Finding Connection to Nature in Times of Social Disconnection. I just feel like this webinar could not have come at a better time. Here in the Edmonton region, we had a couple of days of rain and it is so green today and things are blooming. And I also hear the parks are open today for us to enjoy while physical distancing. So that is exciting. This webinar is part of a series of Wellness Matters talks and webinars at Rivers Edge Counseling Center in St. Albert hosts. We have about 3 or 4 more of them coming up in June. So I invite you to take a look at the website and you would be welcome to join us for any of them. At Rivers Edge Counseling Center, we have a team of counselors and psychologists, 22 of us, and we provide counseling to adults and kids and teens, couples and families, and we provide those services by video and phone or in person. Our presenters today are Shaheen, Alarakhia, and Selena Arcovio, and they are students in the practicum program at Rivers Edge Counseling Center, and they are both just this week graduating from the Yorkville Master in Arts in Counseling Psychology program. Shaheen practices from a client-centered perspective, which aligns with her belief that individuals are the best experts of their own life experiences and have personal strengths and capacities to tap into. She supports her clients to access their inner wisdom and help them to develop tools and strategies for use in their daily life. Shaheen loves to garden and spend time in nature also with her 2 young children. Selena, in her practice, is drawn to narrative therapy because of the focus on the individual's story and how one's understanding of their story can shape their identity. Before beginning her master's in counseling psychology, she earned her professional human ecologist designation and worked in various nonprofits, serving and advocating for people experiencing poverty and homelessness. As a human ecologist, she believes that there is a connection between all aspects of our lives, including the physical, mental, social, and emotional. She views her clients' situations holistically by looking at their relationships with people and their environment, which includes nature and the ecosystems around us, with the goal of enhancing well-being. Well, thank you for being with us today, you two. And with that introduction, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Nicole. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second to share my screen and pull up what we will be talking about today. Okay, so like Nicole mentioned, we're talking about finding connection to nature in times of social disconnection, and I'm Shaheen. We're going to talk to you about how ecotherapy or connection in nature can help to alleviate stress and improve your mood. So social distancing has taken away many of the ways people have helped alleviate their stress and improved their overall moods. Gyms are closed, pools are closed, and visits with our friends and extended family are a bit different. Today, people are dealing with the added stressors of COVID-19. You might have concern about your loved ones who might be at higher risk, or some extra financial uncertainty. Or maybe you have less time for yourself as you navigate homeschooling your children. These things all combined can make a bit of a perfect storm, making us feel more anxious, hopeless, or upset in our daily lives. And with so many things closed, electronics have become an even bigger part of our lives as events, work, and school move online in an attempt to carry on. We might even increasingly turn to electronics to cope and in turn further disconnect from the people we love. Ecotherapy is one thing that is not closed and something that we can begin to do now to help alleviate some of that stress we might be feeling. In today's talk, we are going to explore a bit about ecotherapy, what it is, what benefits it has, and different forms of ecotherapy that you can engage in. We hope that today's talk inspires you to find a way to connect with nature. So, what is ecotherapy? Ecotherapy is the integration of nature into our lives to improve mental health outcomes. Intuitively, we know that nature can help us feel better. Fresh air and greenery can help us feel calmer and happier. We know that time in the garden, getting our fingers dirty, seems to clear our mind. We can imagine taking a long walk in the woods and feel our bodies relax. Solstice in nature is something humans have used since the beginning of time. But now science is starting to catch up. There is a growing body of research that shows integrating nature into our everyday life can help reduce feelings of isolation, promote a sense of calm, and lift our mood. In our current environment, this is something that we all desperately need. So, what can we consider nature? It seems like a silly question, but does my time tending to my vertical garden inside my house count as time in nature? For the purposes of this presentation, we will use the following definition of nature: areas containing elements of living systems that include plants and non-human animals across a range of scales and degree of human management. From a small urban park through to a relatively pristine wilderness. So yes, nature is the great outdoors, but you can include your indoor plants too.
Nature as a tool for healing has so many potential benefits. Research has found that ecotherapy can help reduce mental fatigue, stress, anxiety symptoms, and depressive symptoms, as well as increase self-reported health. With 50% of Canadians reporting worsening mental health since the pandemic, finding ways to improve mental health under the constraints of social distancing is so important. Dr. Henshaw has advised us to get out for walks many times, and these benefits are why. And the benefits don't stop at just one person. As a community, access to more green space has been correlated with a reduction in crime rates, violence, and aggression. Why does ecotherapy help us to reduce our stress and improve our moods? One theory is that nature provides us with a break from attentional, fatiguing activities. It takes less energy for our body to interact with nature than it does for us to interact with the artificial lights, sounds, and smells in a house or building. The break from attentional, fatiguing activities provides us the opportunity to catch our breath and bring down our baseline stress levels. Especially right now, taking an intentional break from stress is important, and nature provides us with one way to do so. We can take our break while outside in nature, but even looking at nature can provide us with that break. Interestingly, a study done by Bratman and colleagues also showed that people who had higher levels of stress showed the most improvement in stress levels when using nature as a form of therapy. This tells us that interacting with nature has the stress-busting effects. The more stressed you are, and the more stressed you are, the better it works. Others point to the benefits of fresh air, which has more oxygen and therefore increases our serotonin levels, which is our feel-good hormone. Still, others point to the increases in vitamin D, which can improve our overall health. And some argue that nature is just where we're meant to be, that being outside fulfills our evolutionary need for us as mammals. Whatever the reason, the evidence is there. Nature can be our medicine.
So today we're going to go through the following types of ecotherapy. We're going to talk about horticulture therapy, assigning yourself green time, physical exercise in a natural environment. We're going to go through what mindfulness walking is, and we're going to talk about photo walking as well. As we go through these types of ecotherapy, I invite you guys to write down the ones you think you might want to incorporate into your life. And write down any inspiration you might have for other ways to incorporate nature into your life.
We're going to start with horticulture therapy. Horticulture therapy is the formal or informal practice that uses plants, horticultural activities, and the garden landscape to promote well-being for its participants. It is rooted in the idea that interacting with plants can bring about positive mental health outcomes, whether it's tending to a garden in your backyard or in a community plot or just having plants in your home. Horticulture therapy draws many of its benefits from being in nature, but it takes it one step further with the element of being a caregiver. Many people who engage in gardening activities or have plants in their home find that their work with plants can teach them a lot of lessons. For example, when winter comes and the leaves fall to the ground and things become dormant, it can look like there is no hope, but there actually is. Seeds have internal clocks that tell them when to begin to sprout. Every year, nature comes back into full bloom. In addition, when you tend to plants, you learn to recognize what they need in order to grow. They need the basics, sun, water, and nutrients, but they also need patience, care, compassion, and attention. Growing plants can promote feelings of accomplishment, self-compassion, and efficacy. Princeton just released a study that showed that an increase in happiness experienced by gardening was similar to the happiness from other leisure activities, like eating out at a restaurant. In today's time where eating out could be more anxiety-provoking than not, gardening is an option to help boost our levels of life satisfaction. The study also showed that the type of gardening mattered, finding that those who engaged in growing food had the highest levels of happiness and satisfaction. In addition, gardening also has physical benefits. It can increase hand-eye coordination, and it is also a very healthy form of movement. I've noticed that during social distancing and isolation, many people are turning to caring for plants and animals. This can help their feelings with disconnection, lack of productivity, and it's a great distraction from the grief we are all feeling about the way our life used to be. Gardening can give us a sense of accomplishment, particularly when we're growing food.
So physical exercise in a natural environment. Exercise is a well-documented way to lift our moods, alleviate stress, and keep our mind and body healthy. And exercising in nature can give you more bang for your buck, so to speak. When researchers compared people who went for a run outdoors versus those that did it in a gym, they found the ones who exercised in nature showed a greater increase in positive self-reported emotions than their indoor counterparts. When many of the things we might have done as self-care a few months ago are not as easily available to us, like going to coffee with a good friend, exercising in nature can be a welcome reprieve. Going for a run or walk outside is one strategy, but we can also combine other forms of exercise with outdoors. We can take our yoga practice outdoors or do our sit-ups, planking, and push-ups on the grass instead of in the house. Exercise has benefits no matter where you do it. And especially in this northern town, sometimes a treadmill will have to do. But when we can combine nature with some exercise, we can see even bigger benefits than with exercise alone. Green time. Green time is the time we spend in nature. It doesn't involve activity like exercise or gardening. Green time is just about spending some time in nature. This could be just spending some extra time in your backyard or walking to your favorite spot and relaxing. Green time is a strong strategy to boost our mental health. So much so that there are doctors who have begun writing prescriptions for green time. It benefits all ages, including children. It sounds so simple and easy that we might underestimate its benefits. But there are some great benefits to green time. A study found that just spending 20 minutes in a park while engaging in no additional physical activity had immediate benefits for participants. The participants reported better moods and less stress directly after their 20-minute visit. Another study showed improvements in mood and self-esteem even in just 5 minutes of green time. And with green time, it doesn't seem to matter what type of environment you're spending your time in. A densely treed area and a park both have the same benefits. Given this, green time is a super easy to use strategy that we all can do. Can you think of where you might want to spend your 20 minutes? Some days, going outside doesn't seem as appealing, but engaging indoors in green time still has benefits. Research has shown that stress levels decrease and job satisfaction levels rise when views from a worker's office window include natural elements. We can use this for our homes too. Do we have a space to plant that tree outside the window that we can look at? Or can we bring some nature indoors with plants? Even indoor plants seem to help. When researchers looked at patients recovering from surgery, those that had plants in their room had lower ratings of pain, anxiety, and fatigue, and even had lower blood pressure than those who didn't have plants in their room.
A mindfulness walk is an excellent way to clear your mind of clutter and restore your sense of focus. It is also a great excuse to get out in nature. You can incorporate mindful walking into your daily life in as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day by using all of your senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, to bring awareness to your body and surroundings. Here's how to do it. As you walk, notice how your body feels. Pay attention to how your legs, feet, and arms feel with each step you take. Feel the contact of your foot as it touches the ground and the movement of your body as you move into your next step. If you become lost in thought as you continue to walk, don't worry about it. That is so normal and expected. Notice your mind wandering and gently redirect your attention back to the present moment. Now, using your sense of sight, look around and try to notice every detail. Using your sense of smell, notice any aromas or scents. Are you able to notice any tastes as you walk? Can you taste the air? Now, using your sense of touch, notice the solidity of the earth beneath your feet. With openness and curiosity, notice any sensations, thoughts, or feelings that arise without lingering on anything in particular. You can mindfully walk anywhere, outside while walking around your neighborhood or your yard. You can even do it inside if it's not nice outside. Photo walking can be a great way to get out and enjoy nature, but with a little bit more purpose. Photo walks are similar to mindfulness walks, but they incorporate the added element of taking a picture of the aspects of your walk that catch your attention. All you need is a location in nature, a camera, and your body. Some tips on how to do it. Choose a theme or intention for your mindfulness photo walk. The color green, wildflowers, textures, bark, puddles. Notice the sensory experience that comes from the subject you're trying to capture in your photo. When you're done your walk, look at your photos and save your favorites. Notice the emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations that arise when you look at the photo. As you go about the rest of your day, if you notice that you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, take a moment to revisit your photo collection. Looking through the photos can help you to remember the feeling of being present and peaceful in nature. Know that you have the power to intentionally recreate and take this feeling with you, no matter what's happening around you. So in this, when we first decided to do this wellness talk, we wanted to take everyone out and do a mindfulness walk along the river in St. Albert, but because of COVID and social distancing, we're not able to do that. So I decided to record a mindfulness walk and give you some tips on how to do it. So hopefully you find this helpful.
Hi, today we're going to be going to my favorite park in Edmonton to do a mindfulness walk. I don't think that there's very much that you need in order to prepare to do a mindfulness walk. Essentially, you could do it at any point during the day, in any environment, in any space. But there's a couple of things that I like to do just to prepare for it. The biggest thing that I do is make sure that I'm wearing comfortable clothing. Today I'm wearing comfortable leggings, a sweater, and my jacket, just because it's a little chilly outside. The most important article of clothing is definitely your footwear. You want to make sure that your footwear is comfortable enough that you can stand for long periods of time, as well as walk around slowly in the environment that you're choosing. I like to try and wear clothes that I don't feel that I need to adjust a lot, just because I want to stay present in the moment. I don't want to feel self-conscious or uncomfortable, and I want to be able to really focus on my surroundings as well as my breath. I think that's everything. Let's head out. We made it to my favorite park. This is McTaggart Sanctuary, and I find it so peaceful here. It's almost like you can escape from the busy of the city, and you can just connect with nature. The first thing I like to do when I'm about to go on a mindfulness walk is really steady my breath. Focus on in and out. In and out. Focusing on my breath in this way really helps me to connect with my body. And it helps me to relax and de-stress from everything else going on in the world, and it brings me into the moment. When we're doing a mindfulness walk, it's important to not feel like you're walking at a pressured pace, you're walking too fast, or if it feels silly to you, don't walk too slow as well. It shouldn't feel unnatural. It should just be a natural pace for you. One thing you can do is really start to notice the sensations in your body as you walk. Starting from standing, what is it like to have both feet planted firmly on the earth below you? Where are you noticing that pressure at the bottom of your feet? As you begin to walk, what is it like to have a foot lift up off the earth and then come back down and make connection? What do you notice in the rest of your body as you begin to move? What does it feel like in your legs, your arms? Can you notice your body swaying from side to side as you lift each foot? Once you've found a natural breath and pace that works for you, it's time to really start practicing that mindfulness. How I like to start is by focusing on my 5 senses. What can I see? What can I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? And what can I touch? In this moment, I can see the ripples of the water from the wind, and I can feel the wind on my body. I can hear the birds chirping in the background. I can smell just the fresh air. I can't really taste anything right now. As you're walking, take a look around and see if there's anything that captures your attention. I'm always drawn to moving water. But right now I notice this little tree or bush, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a tree. I really like the bright green color and the contrast against the kind of cloudy sky and the more dull earthy tones around it. The way that it's blowing in the wind is capturing my attention. I can hear the leaves rustling. I'd like to focus on this plant for a moment. It keeps bringing my attention back to it, and I really want to honor that. I'm going to spend a moment here and really notice the leaves on this plant. This one in particular. In this moment, I'm noticing the bright green and the yellow veins. I'm noticing the way that the leaf moves as the wind passes through it. When I touch it, it feels kind of rough, rougher than you'd expect it to feel. It's cold, it's a little wet. I'm not going to pluck it off of its branch there because I want to leave nature just the way it is and really not create an impact during my mindfulness walk. But I'm really drawn to it. There are moments during your mindfulness walk that your mind is going to wander. And it's going to wander to all the worries that you have, to what you're going to do when you get home, to what you're going to have for dinner. If that happens, don't worry about it. It's expected. It's normal. If that starts to happen, gently redirect your attention back to the walk and back to your surroundings. What I like to do when I have a thought that's really stuck with me is I like to picture myself bunching it up into a little ball and setting it at the top of the stream and watching it float away. That's not going to work for everyone, but if it doesn't work for you, try just redirecting your attention back to your breath. Remember, when you're on a walk, the goal is not to reach a specific destination. It's not to go a certain amount of kilometers or burn a certain amount of calories. It's just to be in the moment and to be present. If you're lucky enough to have a furry friend at home, don't feel like you can't bring them on your mindfulness walk. One thing I like to do when I have my dog with me is pay attention to what they're noticing. What are their senses directing their attention to? It can be pretty insightful sometimes, and sometimes you'd miss what they see. Another thing that I find really cool about getting out for a walk in one of the parks in Edmonton or St. Albert is the fact that the community is so kind. Even though we can't get close to each other right now, we can still wave and say hello, greet each other, say good morning, comment on the weather, comment on the world around us, how beautiful it is. It's really nice. And even though those are strangers that I'm talking to, it still feels good. And I feel connected to the people around me. Thank you for joining me on this mindfulness walk. Hopefully you learned something, and I'm really happy I got to share my favorite park in Edmonton with you. Take care.
So that concludes the formal part of our presentation.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Everyone who is joining us, feel free to put any questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. Also in the chat, I'm just curious about your own experiences in nature too. Let us know what that's like for you, the ways that you might find it to be good self-care or healing, or maybe some practices that you have. I just love that video at the end too. Oh my goodness. I really felt like I was outside. I'll have to make sure to not use it like instead of going outside though, but as inspiration to take my own walk later.
Yes.
That was wonderful. Just interesting to note, we have a visitor from Jakarta, Indonesia, on the webinar with us today. So I just want to say welcome to Canada and nice to have you with us. The question posted by this person was whether or not the presentation would be posted later, and we will put up the recording on the blog as well as your PowerPoint, if that's okay with you. And while we wait for some more questions, I also had this really interesting little chat through the presentation with one of our attendees who for 35 years has been a professional horticulturist. So how wonderful to have this person joining us today too. He started by just saying that he didn't realize that the benefits of nature were considered scientific therapy. And I just couldn't help but ask this person, given all their time in nature, what they notice about how it affects his own mental wellness. And he said he's always excited to get outside and work in the garden and take care of nature, provides him with a purpose and a sense of accomplishment. I often get lost in the time I spend in the garden enjoying the plants, often need to be reminded to come in for lunch. It's wonderful when you just get lost in it in that way. Hey? Also said, time seems to evaporate, which suggests I'm focused on the positive experience and not succumbing to the daily stressors. And he shared a little storytelling with me too, that I'd sum up as kind of he knew it was helpful to him in really powerful ways, subconsciously, even before he understood that consciously. So thanks for sharing. What a thing to have that as part of your job, right? That's wonderful. Someone is saying, great job, ladies. The video was soothing and had some great ideas on staying curious and observant. Someone else says, thanks for the video, it was amazing. We walk every day near the Black Mud Ravine and we'll be seeking out the sanctuary from your video.
I really hope you do get to go to the sanctuary. It's honestly such a beautiful place, and it makes you forget that you're in the city.
I have never been there. And our horticulturist is also giving us some more history about that McTaggart Sanctuary that is actually part of the U of A property granted by Sandy McTaggart, a university chancellor. Have been on the property many times and almost took for granted the benefit of those natural surroundings, brought back good memories. Oh, that's really neat to know. Someone is saying, we find that walking in the same place every day helps us to be mindful of the small changes. Oh, that's a great point too. Yeah. Good. Any other questions or comments? Someone is saying, I just started vegetable gardening on a small level last year. I couldn't believe the joy I received from watching the seeds sprout. It was surprising the sense of accomplishment I had when I could use my own lettuce and tomatoes in a salad. So simple, but so rewarding. Not true. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hi from Montreal. Oh my goodness. We really have lots of variety today. I love traveling to this tranquil park with Selena, especially watching her be with the leaf was very meditative. I love bringing in that sense of touch, connection in nature. If the weather allows, I feel so soothed by taking off my shoes and feeling the ground directly beneath the soles of my feet or touching a tree. Combining this with the green time or walking really helps. Wonderful. Any other comments or questions? It's so impactful, beneficial to be outside that it makes me wonder why I have to force myself to do it during these COVID times. Yeah, any thoughts about that, Selena or Shaheen? Have you heard that from your clients, that it's difficult to do, and even though it's helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's quite common when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed to kind of turn inwards and have a bit of a freeze response where we don't reach out to the things that we know make us feel better. And that can include nature, and it can also just include reaching out to friends or family or doing anything that makes you feel better. Those feelings of overwhelmed can almost override that. And like Belinda mentioned, just pushing forward and kind of forcing yourself can be the antidote.
Yeah, so often we need, especially if we're feeling depressive, but in many other ways too, to just do the opposite of what we feel like doing. Yeah, get out in nature even though we get pulled inside. My grandson loves spiders, someone is saying, so we go outside to find them. Playing in dirt with him is best. Yeah. Being with kids in nature is just a whole other experience too, isn't it? Yeah. Always love that about being outside with my kids. I just definitely notice and appreciate things that I wouldn't otherwise. Yeah.
Children are really naturally apt to mindfulness.
Mhm.
They help keep you in the moment and notice the things, kind of like Selena was mentioning with her dog, like just noticing the things that we would miss otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I think we are winding down with our questions and comments here. I just really want to thank everyone for being with us today. Thank you especially Shaheen and Selena for that wonderful presentation. And thank you for your work with our clients. We're so fortunate to have you, and we have you for a few months yet. So we will appreciate that. Every day we have still with you as part of River's Edge. And I will post the webinar in the next day or two to both of your bio pages as well as the blog. And otherwise, I am just going to wish everyone well, and I hope that we see you again soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.